What's up? What's up? Camila Stevenson here. And what is happening? Stacy, I see you already here. What's up? You was waiting on this live in Kuwait. I love it. I love it. All right, let's get into it. Hold on. Let me turn this. I had to turn this off. I'm looking at my monitor here. Listen, we got some stuff to talk about. I'm going to, man, you're going to learn a lot. I'll tell you that much. And for my members, we'll be jumping on after this. I got some amazing things that I want to talk about, giving an edge of how I track institutional buying and also what you need to have in your portfolio as a hedge against what could be unwinding as we speak. All right. That's awesome. Derek, I see it. I see it. I love it. Smash that like button on your way in for me. I am not your financial advisor. I'm just, everything I say is for educational purposes. I'm just sharing what I'm doing, and I'm not telling you what to buy, hold, or sell. I'm not even telling you what's going to happen, but I am going to share what could potentially play out. And I want you to listen carefully, and I want you to be educated. Also, links are in the description. We are coming to an end soon of our Black Friday sale. And hopefully this live stream will help you to understand why you have to become educated. Because when I tell you there's so much happening in the world and a lot of people don't understand, but I'm going to give you some understanding. I hope you saw it in the title. What's up, Aura? What's up, everybody? Smash the like button, please. We got a lot to talk about. First, let me just start here so that you guys understand that everything I'm about to share is a scenario that could play out. And if it does play out, then there will be some things that happen with Bitcoin and XRP. Particularly with XRP, we're looking at higher rates. Now, let me ask you this. Did you buy the dip? Now, y'all know I keep telling y'all I'm waiting for XRP to come get me under $2. Why do people think they have to FOMO into stuff? I keep saying it. And guess what? I bought some more XRP today. And I've been consistent with the fact that I say when it gets under $2, I am buying. Not that you shouldn't buy over $2. I think it's an excellent place to buy, especially if you don't have a good bag. But I bought the dip and I was excited about it. Now, my son is texting me. All right. So I'm telling him. All right. Sorry about that. All right. So first of all, let me just explain to you, because I'm going to talk about the reverse carry trade. And if you don't know what that means, you're going to want to know what it means, because we can watch for it. Okay. And if we watch for it and it plays out, XRP potentially could be affected. Now, this has been spoken of, by Jake and a lot of different people, but I'm not telling you where XRP is going. I am not the person to tell you the price prediction. I have been following the institutional buys. I've been following the infrastructure. Y'all know I'm macro centered. As a matter of fact, when we jump off this membership, when we jump off this live, when we go to the membership, I'm going to show you one of the resources that I use to follow the institutional whales, because you got to follow the money, y'all. Anyway, and again, I'm going to show you what you should do to hedge in case this does play out. I'm going to explain in layman's terms. Hopefully you understand, because that's the thing that I want to do, is take complex things and introduce them to you where you understand, even if you're a beginner. All right. Going off. Thank you so much. And I see, Stacy, you bought the dip. Now, I asked ChatGPT something, okay, because I just kind of wanted to see, are people just saying that this could happen, or what does that look like? So I asked ChatGPT a question that I'm going to share with you guys, and I'm going to share with you what ChatGPT said. I'm not saying ChatGPT know what it's talking about, but it's going to help you understand, because I'm about to explain the reverse carry trade and how it could. Whales also buying SoFi. Y'all know I love me some SoFi. I'm going to explain how XRP, I love this. Yeah, I'm following the whales too. How XRP gets to double and triple digits, okay, in a short amount of time. Now, will this happen? I'm not saying this will happen. I am telling you that if everything were to play out that I'm about to share, it could happen. Okay. Now, so here's what I asked, because there's a lot of things happening right now, right? We got quantitative tightening just ended today, right? And so we also got the rate cuts that are coming up. Now, there's some things I'm going to share about Bitcoin and MicroStrategy. There's a lot going on with that. But as far as the rate cuts that we're going to get, that also, somebody said is the carry trade could get ugly fast, which means that there's a lot of assets that would temporarily crash or go down. Okay. So that's why I want to explain this, because if this does happen, which we are in the process of the reverse trade, if this does happen, yeah, we're going to see some pullbacks on a lot of things. And I'm going to explain that. Okay. So just get ready and just understand. Okay. Am I still feeling good about XRP? Never felt better. I bought the dip. I'll explain this. Now, here's my question to ChatGPT. Just asking, just wondering if like AI would respond the same way, right? I said, okay, if the reverse carry trade in Japan actually completes, because we're in the process, look it up, meaning Japan raises interest rates, the yen strengthens, and investors all over the world are forced to unwind their yen borrowed positions. And we also get oil spike from one of the major geopolitical triggers, whether that's Israel, Iran tension, Russia, or another Middle East shock. Then what happens next? Question mark. This is what I'm asking ChatGPT. What does this mean if the Federal Reserve responds with a 25 basis point cut versus a 50 basis point cut? And if Japan needs a fast, efficient liquidity solution during this unwind, is XRP the most logical choice since it's already deeply integrated into Japan's financial infrastructure through SBI and Ripple? In that scenario, what is the realistic low end and high end price range that XRP could reach if Japan actually chose XRP as major liquidity tool? Okay, but based on real macro liquidity needs. This is what I asked. Okay, all right. Usually QT ended equals Bitcoin sell off, then bounce, but there's a big lag and it takes time for the money to slash back in. Yep. All right. So that is what I asked. And this is what ChatGPT said. First of all, XRP is the top candidate Japan would choose because amongst all the digital assets, XRP is the most logical and operationally ready choice for Japan. For a lot of reasons. XRP rails were already tested inside Japan. They've already had this integrated in their infrastructure. I won't go through everything chat said, but XRP was designed exactly for that use case. All right. So it said, while nothing is guaranteed, XRP is by far the most structurally realistic choice in that scenario. Now, XRP price range, here's what ChatGPT said. I'm just going to let you know. All right. If the reverse carry trade fully unwinds, oil spikes, the Fed rate they have the Fed rate cuts, and Japan adopt XRP for settlement or liquidity. Here's scenario A: 25 basis cuts. XRP ranges in a minimum of $8 to $15. Moderate structural re-rating would be $20 to $40, and high end, if adoption deepens, $60 to $100. This is what Hey Dollar Store. This is what ChatGPT says. Scenario B. Let's go to B. Okay. This is a 50 base point cut rate. And that's because the loan would get more expensive if we get that big of a cut rate. Okay, because that's going to mean rapid reflation, capital rotation, explosive settlement value growth, institutional risk on behavior. Okay, XRP ranges. All right, here are the ranges. I just got a call and it threw me off a little bit. All right, the ranges for that for 50 basis cut, minimum 15 to 25, moderate $40 to $70, and high-end liquidity squeeze would be $120 to over $250. Okay. The higher range, I do want to say, reflects institutional buying, sovereign liquidity needs, supply shock, settlement corridor activation, and then XRP re-rating to reflect actual global liquidity. So a bigger rate cut means more global liquidity, more cross-border flow, more demand for settlements like XRP. Here's the bottom line. It says, yes, the reverse carry trade finishing an oil spike and Fed cuts creates the perfect macro window for XRP to be chosen as a liquidity tool. Yes, XRP is the most logical choice. A 25 basis cut gives XRP a strong upside. Doesn't matter what everything else doing. This is where the decoupling could come in. And then a 50 basis cut dramatically expands the top end of that range. Those numbers, this is what ChatGPT says, those numbers are utility-based structural reevaluations, not hype cycles, meaning they won't come back down. They'll reset at those levels. So I am not saying this will happen. And I am not saying, do not go back and say, I told you XRP would go to $100 or $200 right now. I'm not saying that. I'm just telling you what ChatGPT said. If those things happen and Japan has to find a way to rescue them, okay? Or I don't want to say Japan, anybody, if the entire reverse trade happens, carry reverse trade happens, where, because outside of Japan, a lot of people have taken the yen for low interest rates and then put it into the, stock market, okay? So if that unwinds with Japan, yes, with Japan, I'm saying that right, then this is what we could see XRP do. So speak those things as though they are. Now we're going to see everything else crash. We could see everything else crash. But I just wanted to front run that so you can understand what I'm about to talk about really quickly. And then I'll get to looking at, so what I'm telling you is, if this thing happens and if we see oil spike and we get the rate cuts, we could see, if Japan chooses XRP, they need to choose. They would have to choose something. And because XRP would be pretty much probably one of the only choices in a sense. Okay, SBI owns 10% of Ripple. Yep. So, yeah, there's some things that we're still looking for. Okay, but I'm just saying this to say this would be almost like a catastrophe, a perfect storm happening. But if this storm happens, it would send XRP up. Okay. And yes, Japan has been working with Ripple for years. So their XRP, it's already integrated in their infrastructure. Okay. So I wanted to say that. Now, again, nothing I say is financial advice. I'm not telling you what to buy, hold, or sell. I'm not telling you what to invest in. I'm not even telling you that XRP is going to a certain price range. I was just sharing with you what ChatGPT said when I asked that particular question, because we are in the middle of a reverse carry trade with Japan and things are panning out and looking like we may wind up there. Okay. So I'm just trying to figure out, okay, if we do wind up there and oil spikes and all of these things play out, what does that mean for XRP? And so I'm just sharing that information. I'm not your financial advisor. I'm only sharing this for educational purposes. Now I want to talk about what the reverse carry trade means and how we even got here so that you can be educated. And I want to continue to educate you. And that's why I'm telling you, make sure you check out the links in the description, because there are some educational resources that I'll talk about a little bit. This would be the best Christmas gift if that did happen. It's not impossible. Okay. It's not impossible. And that's why I just ran it through AI. I could run it through Claude. I could run it through Gemini. They probably all going to say the same thing, that if these events happen, it's event based. It's not about, like, that would never happen with a cryptocurrency if these things didn't take place. That would never happen. Okay. So if this didn't happen, then we ain't looking at that. Okay. I'm just giving a hypothetical situation. Okay. And I'm not even in agreement with everybody throwing these large numbers out. I think hey, I don't want to do that. I'm just sharing with you what I'm looking at. And I am following the reverse carry trade just to see what's what. But honestly, if we could just get, hey y'all, if we could just get a $5 to $7, I'm good. If we can get back over 350, I'm okay, right? And somebody and time, Red Sea miracle. And guess what? It's crypto, anything can happen. And it would be a very similar move to when XRP took off from 50 cents to $3.40. Okay. And it may all be planned. I don't know. I don't have a crystal ball. All we can do is wait and see, y'all. I'm just sharing. I'm just updating. Okay. I'm researching and updating, and I'm giving you all the scoop. Okay. On what that looks like. Okay. This is realistic and 100% will happen. See, we got people who are very strong about it. You know what I'm saying? And hey, listen, it ain't like I don't want it to happen, y'all. So now for people who not invested in XRP and they invested in everything else, then they missed this. But if XRP is the chosen one, okay, then those who are invested will reap the benefits. Okay. Vanguard has it, have they? Has Vanguard entered the building? Because I do think we're gonna get BlackRock and Vanguard, and they'll all come running in at the same time. Okay. While we also I'm not trying to throw hype your way. I'm just sharing with you what I'm talking about. You know what I'm saying? Right? Just bringing possible news. That's it. And I don't want y'all to take none of this the wrong way, because I know a lot of people just be throwing, you know how some people XRP to the moon, XRP to I'm trying to show you the events that could make that possible. You know what I'm saying? I'm not saying it will be. When did this happen? I didn't know this happened. BlackRock and Fidelity. Are they already on board? Was that breaking news today? Because I've been working all day, honestly, and just picked my daughter up from gymnastics, and so I'm here with you guys, sharing the information, right? But I hope they are, because that makes it even more powerful if they are on board. Okay. So again, I'm not here to hype you. I'm not telling you that the XRP is going to that. I'm just giving you the possibility of the reverse trade, and you know what could be chosen. All right. So again, hit that like button, because I'm sharing this information and I'm doing a lot of research to get you there, but I'm not trying to hype you. I want you to stay stable, because honestly, if you think about it, the only people who get upset, you know how people get upset when the price don't move. It ain't got nothing to do with the price or the market or the person talking about it. It has everything to do with your expectations. So anybody who get upset when things don't pan out is because of your expectations. So that's your responsibility as I give you the news, okay? No, you know, it's your due diligence. That's it, girl. You convinced me to getting 20,000 XRP. It's your decision, your decision. But are we at a really good buying price for XRP? Absolutely. To me, I bought some. I bought the dip. Okay. Imagine becoming a millionaire in less than a month. Don't even seem real, right? Okay. So let me explain, because I want to educate you on what the reverse carry trade is. I just don't want to leave you guys and just give you all hopium and, you know what I'm saying, like not really explain this. But again, I think I've laid a very clear, educational, brilliant, intelligent, realistic blueprint that doesn't involve overhyping you all, but you know, just giving the information as clearly as I know how, just graced with balance. Okay. So here's what's happening. So Japan is moving in a way that we haven't really seen happen in like I'm a long-term holder. Yeah, in 3 decades. And I'm a long-term holder too. And that's what makes it easy. Now, for people trying to gamble and all of that other stuff and make some money right away, like you're gonna have some problems. You know what I'm saying? I'm long-term holder. I'm a long-term wealth builder. I believe in holding things long-term. And even no matter what price appreciation happens, I am long-term. I'm thinking about staking and yielding and borrowing against and all kind of stuff, and rotating and building. Okay. Now, so the US is entering a new liquidity cycle. I have to educate you guys. That's what I want to do. So let me just take some time. All right. The bubble is in trouble, Richard said. All right. So Bitcoin, stocks, and crypto, they are reacting right now. They're reacting to macro pressure behind the scenes. And I've been talking a lot about macro environments. Okay. If you don't understand these movements, you're going to react very emotional instead of strategically. And I'm bringing this so you can be strategic. Okay. So I'm not, again, predicting the future, but it's about understanding the setup. There's a setup. There's a setup with chain reactions. Okay. Basically if this, then that. And the part of the market that retail investors never get taught is this, like, if then that, like understanding the setup. Most people just going off of like, oh, I just hope. I never go off of hope. I'm not going off of hope, y'all. I hope if that be the case, I mean, we all hope that prices go up, right? We hope they go up and just never come down. You know what I'm saying? Like, just keep moving up or whatever. But then we wouldn't have good buying points. So I don't know how good that's going to happen. But anyway, this is not on hope. I'm trying to get you to understand the cycle. Okay. So to understand what's been happening with Japan, Japan has been doing, or what they've been doing for maybe the last 30 years. Japan has kept their interest rates. Okay. So here we go. They've kept their interest rates at literally zero. Okay, for decades, zero. Okay, right? So imagine borrowing money and paying almost no interest. Okay, imagine that for a very long time. That's what Japan's institutions have been able to do for years and years. Okay, and when interest rates are that low, Japan banks or pension funds or insurance companies, all the big players, they go hunting for higher returns overseas. So now they're going to go overseas because they want better returns. So what do? They borrow cheap yen, and then they take that money and then they buy US stocks, US treasury bonds, global equities. They buy risk assets, and then they're going to buy, of course, crypto, right? They're going to buy all of those, right? And so this became known as the yen carry trade. Okay, this is what I'm giving you the history. This is that's what it came from, the yen carry trade. And it's one of the biggest financial strategies in the world. Borrow in Japan and invest in America. That's it. That's the simplest way I can get. Borrow at 0% and then earn like 4 to 6% in the US. Okay. So, and it wasn't small money. We're talking about trillions of dollars, okay, flowing out of Japan and into global markets. So Japan was literally fueling the world with liquidity. That's what they was doing. Okay. So now here's where things get interesting. The Bank of Japan didn't just keep the rates at 0. They also bought more than half of all Japanese government bonds, meaning they became the biggest buyer of their own debt. So with doing that, they artificially controlled the system. Okay, so it worked for a long time, and it kept Japan pretty stable all this time. It kept the global markets pretty supported during that time, and it kept liquidity flowing into the US. So remember, the money is going from there to us, right? But just like every era in history, listen, it has to end at some point. And that brings us to today. So here's what's happening and why their free money era is ending, which is the reverse carry trade. I'm helping you to understand this. I love that you guys are all long-term holders for XRP. Because I think whether the price appreciate through this or not, it's going to appreciate long-term. Okay, so now that you understand this setup, understand this: Japan's 30-year zero rate experiment and the yen carry trade is ending. Or the yen carry trade is planning out and it's ending. So I'm going to tell you why it matters at this moment. Okay, that's all right, Dorothy. You can go back and listen to the replay because it is some good information, and I'm trying to really educate you. Okay, so for the first time in decades, Japanese interest rates are now waking up. Remember, I just told y'all it was 0%. 0%, put it in US bonds or US stock and get 4 to 6%. It's ending. So basically, their 10-year government bond yield recently hit like 1.85%. Now, that may sound very low, but for Japan, that is the highest it's been since Lehman Brothers. Remember the Lehman Brothers crisis? Remember that? That's the highest it's been. So that's a lot for them. Imagine going from 0%. And we're talking about a lot of money. And then their 30-year bond, not only that, their 30-year bond is at around 3.4%. And their 40-year bond is even higher, like 3.7%. Okay. So these are levels that they have never, ever, ever seen in modern history. Do you understand? Okay. Now, why does this matter? It matters because when yields rise, it's going to be two things that's going to happen. Japanese bonds finally become attractive again, of course, because they're increasing. So for 30 years, they was basically paying nothing. Okay. Now, for the first time, Japanese institutions can actually earn a decent return staying where? At home. They ain't got to come here because theirs is getting better. And then 2, the math behind the carry trade breaks. So it breaks. The math ain't mathing no more. You know what I'm saying? They're not getting what they used to get to borrow 0% and then go get 4 to 6. The math ain't math. And so the whole point of borrowing yen at 0% and then investing it in US at 4 to 6% was the spread, the gap between what you pay and what you earn. Okay. So that was the gap. Now, if Japan starts paying 2 to 3% at home and the US is paying, say, like 45%, the gap gets what? Smaller. Okay. And if the yen strengthens against the dollar, the gap can even go negative, whatever that looks like. In normal language, again, the game stops making sense. The game ain't gaming it. The math ain't mathing it. All of that. Okay. And then also to add on top of that, they also just approved a massive, like, I don't know if it was like 21 point, a large amount stimulus package. So the bond market did not like that because the yields jumped and traders are now pricing into that. It's about 60% odds, I think, of a rate hike in December and close to like a 90% odds of another one by January. Okay. So that's where we are now, which we went over, but they don't like that. So here's what that means all in one sentence. If I could just break it down, very simple. H bar is next to XRP to pop. The free yen era is over. Okay. Japan has finally, they have real yield again. That's the simple way to put it. Okay. And so now then we get to the part where people are calling the reverse carry trade. And this is where things get really messy with this. Okay. The yen carry trade was again borrow. And I want you to understand this so that sometimes I'm repetitive so you can understand it, because to some people it's very new. And I know that you probably don't understand this, but I'm trying to help you to understand the setup so that you can watch it, right? Because if you are invested in XRP and just or the stock, I'm invested in all of it, right? So all of it will be affected. It'll just be affected in different ways. So the yen carry trade was you buy cheap yen and then you buy US assets. The reverse carry trade, so that's why I got to walk it step by step. So now it's the reverse carry trade is sell US assets and pay back yen, okay? Because if you big Japanese fund and you borrowed in yen to buy US stocks or treasuries or Bitcoin or whatever, and now the yen is strengthening and yields are rising, then you have to unwind the trade, okay? So again, this is called the reverse carry trade. You have to unwind it. So you have to sell what you bought. You sell your stocks, you sell your bonds, you sell risk assets. Some will even sell crypto. Henceforth, why do you think we could have a correction, a crash, if all of that selling is happening? Because you have to reverse what was done, because it's costing you. Okay. And think about it. They're selling common, not because they hate those assets. So again, long-term picture, it's not because they hate the assets. It's not because the fundamentals of the companies aren't working and all of that. But it's because funding currency has changed. So their cost of borrowing went up, which means their risk changed. Hold on. I'm trying to. Yes, there you go. If it does unwind, things will get worse before it gets better. And these are things you need to know just in case. When you see a crash and you're like, oh my God, what's happening? I'm telling you what could happen. Okay. So you're going to see things get bad before they get worse, but you may see XRP, you could see XRP decouple because they have to rely on something. Okay. It basically to the rescue. So when these positions are unwound, it puts downward pressure on the things that they're selling. So if you like, Bitcoin dumping or whatever, risk assets suddenly, yeah, that's the carry trade unwind. It's a big piece of that puzzle. Now, we are watching with this, we're watching decades of positioning adjust in real time. So, it's got to be dramatic. This is decades worth of positioning. Okay. So, again, this is not about just crypto news. These are macro forces. I keep telling you macro. These are macro forces that's moving under the surface of all of this. And if you don't understand, everything's going to just look random, and everything is not random. Now, I was going to talk a little bit, but I'm not going to do that for the sake of time. I was going to talk a little bit about how it hits Bitcoin, because Bitcoin and MicroStrategy is in a little bit of, trouble because their MicroStrategy is over leveraged. They may have to sell off some of their assets. And remember, at one point he was saying that Michael Saylor was like, we're never selling Bitcoin. Now he talking about we'll sell if we got to. So, yeah, they and MicroStrategy, they done turned themselves into a leveraged Bitcoin vehicle. Okay. Right. So look, somebody like, okay, drilling, they crash back to 30. Some people think they might have a hard crash. Some people think 20,000. I don't know. Yeah, like we just talking big picture, you know what I'm saying? Like infrastructure type stuff, utility type stuff, like deeper than just a price charts. We're not looking at micro and so if you will, our stimulus checks. Yeah, I mean, if you put money back into the system and stuff, it's going to hit, I'm also looking at liquidity. So there's a lot of pieces to this puzzle, you all. This is just one thing I'm talking about. But if you look at some of my other videos, I do start to explain other macro things like following the liquidity and things like that. Right. I'm putting up some. Michael Saylor has the absolute worst, but I just don't understand it. I don't understand it. I'm like, what? Did they just say like we just gonna buy? I don't get it. He just threw money at it, no strategy, no nothing. Okay. Okay. Bloomberg is reporting that Vanguard Group will roll out crypto ETF access to its brokers. Is that for XRP? Confirm, is that for XRP, right? Jerome Powell has the money warming up, hold cash for the crash. Yeah, if it does crash, you know what I'm saying? It'll be a good place to buy because they won't stay down. You know what I'm saying? These are just temporary things, right? Now, even with Bitcoin, there's some warning signs. Bitcoin has closed below key weekly moving averages multiple times, and we also had a death cross on some higher time frames. The monthly MACD has crossed down in the past before deeper corrections that we've had. So even looking at the chart, but again, XRP could play a XRP can play a different role, and the reason why is because Japan isn't just another, like Japan, they already have it integrated in their system. Japan is deeply, deeply tied into the XRP ecosystem, okay, through SBI Holdings and other partnerships. They got partnerships already. So XRP has already been tested as a cross-border settlement tool in Japan, okay? So this is the reason why it's not theoretical. It's part of the pilot programs that they've had. They've tested this out already. So if they facing rising yields, stress in their bond market, increased FX volatility, pressure on the outward investments, what do they need? They're going to need faster settlement. They're going to need cheaper cross-border movement. They're going to need better liquidity management. They're going to need tools to move value in and out efficiently. They're going to need all of this. And so that's how that's what XRP was built for. So that's why it could be it could be a short-term, it could be something that's utilized, but it's going to cause short-term pain for risk assets. Okay. It can also create like a demand for assets that solve liquidity problems just in general. Now, I'm not saying that they couldn't use something else, but I'm just saying XRP is highly more likely. Okay. So Powell is supposed to be speaking real soon. So we're going to see that and see what he got to say about that. XRP gives Japan the rails to move money in and out quickly. They'll need quick settlement. Yep. Thank you so much, Michael. Thank you. I appreciate it. I'm just trying to help you guys wait and buy and dollar cost average 50K if you're in long term. Yeah. I mean, because I think of course, everything will recover. I still think going into 2026, we're going to have a bull market, and I think things are going to do well. I do think crypto is going to run fast once it runs overall, like altcoins, but time will tell. Okay. Time will tell. Mo, let me know. Just usually say, I'll just be in here learning. Oh, let's see. Ebonita Mo. Let me know. I usually just be in here learning. All right, cool. Yeah. So that's I want to share that because I think it's valuable to know just kind of where we are. Again, I'm not saying anything. I'm not making any definite statements or anything. I'm just trying to explain to you all where we are. Look it up. Look up the reverse carry trade if you're not invested in understanding about the yen and what's going on. We got a new member. Like I said, after this, I'm going to jump on and I'm going to say, now, hey, there are some things that you need to do, like to prepare yourself if this does happen. There's some things you should be invested in, and I'm going to show you a resource that I use. That's why I don't care about the movement of the dollar and all of that. Like, because honestly, I'm looking at the macro environment. You know what I'm saying? This is a long-term play. XRP and a lot of these utility-based coins over the next so many years. I'm invested in Bitcoin too. You know what I'm saying? And if it dropped down to 50,000 or wherever it dropped to, I'll buy. You know what I mean? I think it'll probably have a bounce up or whatever after that. But I'm just saying we might see some temporary pain if this happens. If this happens. So look at the oil. If oil spikes, if we get a higher basis cut, it makes it more predictable in a sense. Okay. All right. Somebody said, liking what I'm hearing. Yep. So I wanted to go over that now. Very briefly, let me just say this, because if you're not educated, honestly, people who are more educated financially, increasing their wealth IQ, they're able to look at these things and not be so emotional, to build their convictions. Like, you got to have your own convictions built along this process, and it keeps you from making emotional moves. I know a lot of people, they get real emotional, they sell and all of that. You got to understand the system that we living in. Okay. So one of the things I always suggest is, listen, if you want to go deeper in learning, like how the markets work, how to read macro cycles, how to build your wealth IQ, Larry Jones with Stock Up University is doing a special. He's got a little extension for his Black Friday offer. He's got an offer, but he's also given my community a discount with the code EARN, EARN. I am telling you, I've said this before. It is absolutely incredible. The university will teach you more than any finance degree that you could ever get. And I've taken a lot of like financial programs and classes and university type level stuff. Like I've taken a lot. It does not compare to anything out there. It just does not. I've gone through it. I'm going back through it. I went through a little bit more this weekend, and I have to keep going through it. It is so good. When I tell you it levels up your game, your understanding of the markets, your understanding of stocks, all season, crypto, I mean, technical analysis, option plays, everything you could possibly think of. It is 10 times, 100 times better than any financial. Like you could go to college and you still won't learn the stuff that you're going to learn in there. So again, he gave my people a special discount if you use the code EARN. We already got people that's in there. I was like, yes, people real serious, because 2026, like we got to move differently, y'all. There's a lot of things coming, and it's not as, the economy is not as simple. We're in a K-shaped we're in a K economy, and what that means is that, you know, the assets, the value of assets and stuff are going to go up, but so is housing, so is gas, so is, you know, spending and food and insurance and all of this other stuff. And people who are not invested in the right things, they're going to have it hard, man. I don't know what to say. And then I think this is the last day for my Black Friday sale. Black Friday. So Larry's a lot more generous than me because mine end at midnight, I believe, but maybe I'll extend it one extra day. But Black Friday, my code is Black Friday 300. And again, that's because I'm doing coaching. So in our 90-day health and wealth accelerator, we're working on, you know, I'm a health coach as well. So we make sure that you're healthy enough to sustain all this wealth building. So we're going to help clean up that stress and nervous system, but we're also building your financial foundation, get you out of emotional trading, put structure around your decisions, get you ready for 2026, looking at portfolios. I just got off a coaching call with my group and it was amazing today. So it's real live in time coaching. And I don't want too many sales because I have to cap it off at a certain amount. You know what I'm saying? Because I want to make sure that I'm meeting your needs and I'm coaching you through your portfolio, how to build wealth, how to set up the hedges that you need to have. If you need LLC, tax strategy, all of that, I'm dealing with everything. And I'm getting more intentional this year because I know what 2026 is going to look like. So again, that code is Black Friday 300. Okay. So the links are all in the description. If you look in the description, the links are there. Now, Japan 10-year 1.78. Okay. That's good to know. So all the links are in the description. I received an email. I replied. I don't think I did. I'll make sure I find you. I'll make sure I find you. And we're about to get in the members group too. So I'll talk to you a little bit more about there. Okay. All right. Somebody said, now look, because he talking about getting rid of taxes. Man, listen, y'all. If he was to get rid of taxes, it's game over. It's game over. When I keep saying this, it's going to be more billionaires and trillionaires made in the next decade, but it's also going to be more homeless people. It's going to be more poor people. The gap is going to just completely expand. It's the K shape. Everything going up this way, and then everything going down for other people. All right. Good night from Kuwait. I appreciate you. All right. You concerning maybe a scare. Okay. Let's talk about that because I don't want if it ain't my email, I don't want you to let's talk about that because if it ain't my email, I don't want you responding to it because there are some people out there that'll try to scam you. All right. But the link is in the description for and you know what, it might have I did have an email campaign that got sent out, Aura. So it might have been me, but if it's coming from info@healthyandbetter.com, that's me. Just tap on the description. If it says info@healthyandbetter.com, that's absolutely me. All right. Will you still make? Of course. I mean, I don't do this for money. Okay. I do this because I am really passionate about this. I'm really passionate, just in the same way I'm passionate about people getting their health in order. I'm absolutely passionate about what I do. I feel like it's part of my purpose. It's part of my ministry. I love it. And this community helps me as well. And any leveling up I do, I'm going to continue to give the information to you. I'm trying to post I see the super share, but I can't. Oh, there we go. Any information I give to you, Thank you. I so appreciate your generosity. Any information that I give to you is because, hey, I'm trying to help you all to level up as well. You know what I'm saying? We're all in this together. We all have the same values. We all working towards the same goal. We're here as a community working. You see, I put up, look, I'm like, hey, did Vanguard get in? Let me know. We all in this together. We learning, we researching, we growing. And that's what community is all about, is iron strengthens iron. And so the purpose of this community isn't money. It's not money based. So I wouldn't stop just because of, you know what I mean? Like, you know, having more money. I got a nice amount of money, you know what I'm saying? But I'm not going to stop because of that. You know, of course, I like to invest my money in assets, but right now I think a lot of us are getting into that point where you're asset rich and cash flow poor, because you done, everybody like bat a dip. And it's like, I ain't got nothing else to bat a dip. I done bought every dip I can. I need this thing to take off. I feel the sentiment because that's the case. You know what I'm saying? But we will all be rewarded in the way that we need to be rewarded. And so continue to invest, continue to build your future, but I'm gonna be around. I'm here because I love it, and it's purpose driven, it's fulfillment driven. Okay, it's not because of money. I could do a lot of other things to with my time to be making money, but I really do genuinely appreciate being here with you all, and I really respect you all's time that you share coming on here, because I mean, time is valuable, and you guys are here with me. I love it. I appreciate it. It's amazing, right? So I appreciate you. I just want you to know that. And I'll continue to do my research, my due diligence, to make sure that you guys are on the cutting edge. Have you taught your members about zero knowledge proof? Not yet. I haven't taught my members yet. Not yet. I haven't taught them yet, but I will. So I got a lot of stuff coming. Like there's so much to learn and to grow about this wealth life. So I'll continue to share the knowledge. And but again, links are in the description. Now, give me a minute for my members, because I am going to jump off and I'm going to go right in. So just give me about 5 minutes just to set it up real quick. And I'll see you on the other side, because I'll be just spending a little time with you. I'll show you one of the resources I use to help me understand when institutional whales are getting in. Hit that smash button on the way out, please. And then I will also be sharing what the hedge is, what things you should be invested in as this reverse carry trade pans out. Somebody said Stronghold has gone crazy since I mentioned it. It's good to hear. And again, I'm long term, so I'm not even swing trading Stronghold. So it may go up, down. Like I said, we may see a lot of things. I appreciate you, new member. We may see a lot of things. Rumor is BlackRock, Vanguard, and Fidelity will soon join. Yeah, I'm just waiting on the confirmation of that. But I know they will, and I know they'll all do it together. Yes, 202D clock. Did I say that right? C-Dude, sorry. All right, Aura, no problem. You can watch the replay. All right, so guys, I will see you guys later. I am going to hop off and I'm going to spend a little time with my members. Remember, hit that like button. If you all the way here and all of you all are on live, please hit that like button on the way out. It doesn't cost you anything. It really helps the video, and I just really appreciate it. I'll be back on sharing some more information about this. And yeah, I'll continue to do my due diligence, and I'm going to continue to like track it and everything. So y'all going to be ahead of the curve, but do your due diligence as well. Again, everything I say is not for financial advice, but it's for educational purposes only. All right, guys, stay wise, stay healthy, and I will see you in the next. And I appreciate the members that are joining. I'll see you soon.